What's going on, traders? It's Ricky with Technical Solutions. So I'm going to give it a couple minutes for everyone to start tuning in live. But this is pretty much going to be one of the first live videos that I make during pre-market and once the market actually opens. And the whole reason that I'm making this video it is not just to follow my trades, but again, it's going to be the importance of planning. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen so you guys can see, and I'm going to be following up with 3 stocks that I was talking about yesterday on my helpful video on how to, find the best penny stocks. I use certain criteria to filter out stocks, and again, this is for my own, in a sense, benefit. It's just for me to share my whole thought process so you guys can learn from it. So when I say the best penny stocks, those are for me because based on the criteria that I set up, that's certain criteria that I look for when actually trading. So overall, we're doing the $1,000 challenge right now. It looks like we have a good amount of people tuning in, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Right now, I am trading Snap. Snap is at right now $18.42, and I'm gonna be talking to you guys and kind of see what you guys think. I had a stop loss set, ended up not triggering. I still have it to sell here to 1842. I'm up 1.94%. It's actually up to 1840. So I'm going to start sharing my screen so you guys can see exactly what it is that I'm talking about, and then kind of go from there. So yesterday when we were planning, we talked about 3 different stocks that I was going to follow up with during pre-market hours. And I wanted to make a video, showing and explaining exactly what it is that I do. And talking about this. So yesterday when we performed our technical analysis after the market closed, after market hours, all that already happened. It showed to have a support for Snapchat at 18 and then a resistance at 1820. Obviously, based on the numbers that I just gave you, you guys can, properly identify that the 1820 resistance was broken. And this, dashed line is actually at pre-market hours. This is after market hours as of yesterday. And there's a current resistance, right? The current resistance right now is about 1847. The current price, it's going to be this little price right here. This is pre-market hours, 1841. I can see where people are buying, where people are selling. So if I wanted to, I can sell right now for a 1.9% profit. And I might actually do that. I'm not 100% sure. I'm actually probably going to follow with the stop loss at 1839, just to lock in the profits there. It definitely does have margin to make up though. So everything played out according to plan. The resistance was broken. So now because the resistance was broken of 18, that now becomes a new support based on previous trends. So as it starts coming down, if it comes down and has pullbacks, just know that 1820 might be a support that we end up identifying. But as well as what's next for this current resistance. Well, if you see there is a resistance here about the 1850 mark, just yesterday, and it's now the resistance now. So what's going on, right? Well, if it could break this resistance, so once the market opens, obviously we're going to see a higher increase in volume. So now I'm going to set my alert, right, when it goes above this certain price point. And I'll go ahead and just for one of my buddies, he actually told me or suggested for me instead of using trend lines, to use price level, because it draws a straight line. Perfect. And it actually works out very well. So right now the current support is about 1832. Current resistance is about, really just 1850, but to be exact, it's 1847. What's next after this? Well, if we go a little bit further back, there's a resistance right here at about 1890. So obviously, once we break above this resistance, it would be ideal to follow up and try to see if we could sell here, but it's not going to be 100%. All right, let me just go ahead and continue because we have about 17 minutes until the market opens, and I want to make sure I plan out my trades accordingly. So now my plan for Snap, I'm just going to follow up. Current support is now 1832 at the current price. Current resistance is about 1850. So I'm up, and that's great. All right, MTBC. So we yesterday called the support here at 206, called the resistance at 207 yesterday. And during pre-market hours, it hit that resistance and then started seeing a downward trend. So now where are we going to see a support? Well, we can try to see if we can catch it again at 206. I don't actually think it's going to bounce at 206 once again. So let me go a little bit further back and actually see how this thing wants to play out. But let me go a little bit further back. After it breaks this 206 support, there's probably going to be one at $2 and then at 171. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw that in. Get a little bit closer. So we're really going to have to see how this one opens and see if we have some pretty good pullbacks. So I'm going to follow up with this one once the market opens. But it ended up doing, just what we expected. It hit the resistance and then it started, coming back down. The RSI indicator showed that it was, perfectly sold at that peak. So right at 230 and then started coming right back down. And again, that's what we predicted for that to be the resistance. And that's really just it. So now let me go ahead and create my alert. And I'm going to put when it goes below that certain price point. All right, so MTBC, that is still the current support and resistance, so that's still valid. Now for NAK. Alrighty. Well, obviously, based on what we set up, it looks like the three stocks that I planned out to trade, ended up doing very well, or are doing very well for this upcoming morning, right? So we did well on identifying KNACK as a good trade. We identified the resistance to be right along this, what is this, 220 range. And I believe that's what I have as the current resistance. Yeah, 220, and the support around 210. It's about, a 5% margin for profit. And it played out well pre-market hours. It held in between that area during aftermarket hours or during pre-market hours as of today. Support is now at 240. Resistance is at 260. Now look, this is what I'm thinking it will most likely happen. So right now it's seeing the support at 240, so it's bouncing at 240 and a resistance at 260. Based on how NAK has been playing out, right as the market opens, we're most likely going to see, I think, a nice little pullback. And in that pullback, we can see a drop, down to 220. It's not about the huge drop that you need to be worried about. It's about where you're going to get in once it drops. Me as a day trader, I love chasing red stocks because they have the most potential for profit. They end up usually coming back, to where they were at, right? As they open, they usually come back from, this huge drop to 190, and then they come back to the 205, 2010, and they come back to where they were. So because you bought it at this pullback and you're catching it on the way up, now you created this margin of profit, you identified this margin of profit that you're able to react quick enough, and that was it. That's definitely something that I think I want to follow up with. This one, if anything, looks a little bit more profitable, a little bit more interesting to me compared to any of the other three that I was talking about, and that's just based on my opinion. So I'm gonna put an alert right here once it goes below. I'm gonna put an alert once it goes below. And if you can see right now, KNACK out of every stock, compared to Snapchat and all that, is seeing the highest, increase in volume based on where it's currently at. So obviously it's in a healthy amount of volume, so you can probably get in and get out at a good enough time. Now it really comes down to just making sure that it reacts according to your plan. And does that mean 100% that it's going to? No, and that's why it's so important to follow up with it during pre-market hours. So for those that are watching right now, wow, there's actually a good amount of for those that are watching for the first time, pretty much I made a video yesterday, a couple hours ago, if that, about 11 p.m. Again, the market was closed. I'm pretty much just preparing for today. So I perform a series of technical analysis. The stocks that I was sharing, as in Snapchat, NAK, and MTBC, are stocks that I found potential in based on me doing and performing my technical analysis. And that's the whole thing that I want you guys to understand is I simply performed technical analysis. I identified potential. I saw, wow, these look like good quality stocks to trade for tomorrow. And I filtered out every other stock that wasn't seeing potential. And because I have three main criteria as an RSI, volume, and SMA, ones that I focus on to qualify stock for one, me as an investor to invest in. You as the investor have to make sure that you find, potential, or you find the stocks that you're choosing to invest in to be good quality stocks. If you can't, and if you don't, then don't trade just yet, because that's the whole point of investing is identifying potential, identifying that it's a low price, and then selling for a profit. So if you guys like this video, because this is the first style of video that I do, as in following up with my analysis the day before, and then this is usually what I do during pre-market hours, and I follow up with them during pre-market hours. I perform a simple analysis just like I did right now. If you guys like this, please feel free to give the video a thumbs up. I am watching right now, and I'm going to start trying to see if I can answer some of your questions. So it looks like you guys are having your full-on conversation within the live chat. Make sure that you also, if you guys haven't done so already, the link is provided for you in the description. Right now, we're sitting a little bit over 15,000 members worldwide with our technical solutions, community. And the thing that we do best is obviously share best practices and share mistakes in effort to promote growth. It's a very welcoming community, especially for those that are just starting out. And I'm going to start just continuing to look to see if I missed any stocks. And I'm going to share my screen. Right, so I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see exactly what it is that I'm looking for, and I hope you guys, in a sense, benefit from this. But if you guys like this specific or this kind of video, please give it a thumbs up to give me a better understanding that you guys like this. So they're bringing up Snap again. Let me just follow up with it again. Snap is at, ooh, it broke. Okay, so it broke resistance, so good call. And again, this is the whole point of networking. So Lewis and Andre Barnes says Snap is running. So look, it had a huge spike. Now it's having somewhat of a pullback. So what I want to do is I'm going to go into my Robinhood account, and now I'm up 2.5%. I've won. Okay, now it's seen a pullback. Now it's down to 1846, 1849. It's seen a good increase in volume. Now I have one of two things to do. I'm up, more than what my daily goal is. So my daily goal for this $1,000 challenge is 2.33% growth a day to achieve my day for the or my profit for the day. I've seen a lot of red days. So what I can do is to be less conservative and still trade to see if I can squeeze in a little bit more profit, is set a stop loss. So as it continues to rise, I want to make sure I still lock in my profits, but that I give it enough cushion as it rises for it to do well. And to give it some room that if it continues to rise, then I'll allow it to continue to rise. So once it breaks this resistance again at around 1850, what I'm going to try to do is to see if I can actually put a stop loss. Because usually when it breaks this resistance, it creates to be a new support. I think right now it's actually just in a downward trend. So it's most likely going to bounce around 1842. So I'm just going to have to follow up with this one. It doesn't look like it had a nice little surge of volume, but now it's not doing too well. So let me go ahead and just continue real quick and then see what I see potential in. KNACK was one that I saw potential in. The reason why is because it broke the resistance. We, in our analysis video yesterday, we said that the resistance was really at $18. If you want to be specific, it's $17.94. It broke that resistance and is now creating that as the new support. So it's going to be red here. Right, and then the new resistance is about 1875. So for those that held, congrats. Again, it's a very risky ETF based on the past previous days. Since it's seen such a rise, it could see a really big downward trend. But now we have this margin, right, from this low point and high point, and it really comes down to me following up with this one to make sure that I get it in at a good price if I choose to trade it. Again, this being an $18 stock, I'm gonna have to see $1.80 to see 10% profit. So from the $18. So from the $18 to $18.80, we're seeing 80 cents, which is nearly about half, a little bit less than half than what I actually need to see. So that's about like 4 to 5%. So again, not bad for your day trade as long as you catch it accordingly and make sure that you catch it at the bounce. and then you sell, when the RSI indicator is showing that it's oversold and stuff like that. So let me go ahead and there was one that you guys were asking me for me to perform a technical analysis in. So Michael Shear is saying, he's explaining on how you guys can join. So for those that are wondering how you guys can join TechBuds, he has a little thing on how to actually join. There are some group chats within our TechBud Solutions platform that are filled and that have met their limit. So I'm gonna have to just make sure that you're patient and I can follow up with you guys. So let me go ahead and people are asking about FNBC. I don't like this. I don't like to trade stocks less than 50 cents. That's just a little bit too risky for me. It's not even seeing much pre-market hours. Yeah, it's not seeing much, market hasn't even opened, it's not seeing much. So, well, obviously it has a support around, 9, what is that, 10 cents? It's around 10. And then it has a slight resistance right here around 14, and then another one at 19. Alrighty, let me see. That's a nice little margin of profit, but not enough for me to find interesting. And usually choose another one that's inverse ETF. So when JDST does bad, this one does well, just like JNUG. So these are ones that you guys might want to look at. If you guys identify potential, then great. So there's one that was recommended on ENPH. Has a support of 85 cents during pre-market hours. It's been on a consistent downward trend. So I don't find this one too attractive since it hasn't bounced and it doesn't see a huge increase or a huge amount of volume. But I mean, if it bounces and starts seeing an upward trend, then great. The RSI is like not too bad. As long as it starts to show signs of upward momentum, then that's never a bad trade as long as you can get in and get out for a profit. But just again, make sure that you get in at the balance and you get when it's going up, and not just try to get in at a low point and ride it down, and try to hope that it actually bounces, because if the indicators are not showing you that it's bouncing, then it's probably not bouncing. Don't trade based on emotions and hope. Trade based on what it's actually telling you. So it's gonna be the last one before I start trading. Has a nice little margin profit, has a support about 118. So thank you, Michael Shear. Great call on that one. It has a nice little support at 120 and a nice little resistance at 140. So it has more than your 10% profit. This can definitely be one that we're going to want to follow up with. And I will put my alert for this one. And I've been going live a little bit more often, guys. If you guys like these more than the helpful videos, or would still like me to do, the helpful videos and a mix of these different live streams, go ahead and let me know. Again, I really want to make videos and content that specifically meets your guys' needs. So I only know what you guys tell me, so you guys can like this video or the different live videos, but as well as not just because comment, I can tell you guys to comment below. Commenting below can help other people, but not me personally. I really want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. So DM me through the Technical Solutions group chat. And then if you DM me and let me know, like I get a good amount of people that DM me and that tell me, wow, they really like the live streams, then I'll do the live streams. Because if you comment down below, I don't look at all the comments in my videos, and I apologize. It's just because I tell people to comment and share their best practices. And with the hundreds of videos that I have and the different comments that I get, it's just the time, isn't really worth it for me, right? It's a little bit more worth it for me to respond to people within my community of TechBot Solutions, just because I know I'm helping people rather than just answering to sometimes, hate comments. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. I'm gonna start sharing my screen again, and the market's about to open in 1 minute, so let's go ahead and get it, guys. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and shout this out within the. Alrighty. Oh. Alrighty. Well, I'm trading Snap right now, so I really want to make sure that we have this ready to sell. So I have my shares up. So 50 shares. So we're going to have to see exactly where it goes. We're probably going to see some pullbacks. And then market just opened. All my alerts going off, JDST, KNACK. Again, but I'm on or in Snap right now. So again, if it's not moving much, it doesn't react the way that I thought it did. Snap, okay. Let's talk about Snapchat. We're at 1840. So it looks like it's holding pretty well. I really want to get closer. We're right here. Let me go ahead and go on NAK real quick. Pull back. So broke support. So where is it going to drop? I'm going to have to follow up with this one. I really want to get in just because I think this is going to have a solid bounce. But let me go back to Snap. Okay, Snap isn't doing the way that I thought it was going to be doing. It broke below the support and is now going towards the 1830 support, which was previously its old resistance. So, oh, seeing a green candlestick. So rising, buyers, sellers. It actually broke below EMA, so it's probably going to be a time that I sell. RSI looks relatively pretty low. Let's see. Man, all my alerts are going off right now. And if like the stock that you're investing or that you're trading, and it doesn't see the type of volume or movement that you expected, then it's probably not going to be worth your time. And it actually just broke, I think, below the support. We have support at 1830. Let's see what it goes. What happens? It's bouncing. There's buyers. Nope. There we go. Bounce. It's picking back up. So that was a solid bounce. Solid bounce. Solid bounce. Good. Now, just to make sure that I do it right, I'm really not going to get too greedy. I'm going to sell. And let's see if I get filled. Wow, it had a huge spike. Did you guys see that? I put my limit order at 1841, and I got filled at 1846. So that's great. I just sold, and based on my, I'm gonna have to move pretty quick. So I locked in what was that? It was 2.3% profit. It's at 150 or 1850 again, so it's most likely going to break that resistance. I hope my alert ended up working out for you guys. I'm just going to have to follow up with NAK just because I think this is going to have a nice little pullback. Seeing a bounce, and RSI, everything looks good. NAK. So again, I'm going to be patient, make sure that I don't get in too early if it doesn't see, nice little bounces. But SMA, as long as it continues, really wanted to break above the 230. Alrighty. All right, guys, I'm filled. I'm filled at 228. So purchase NAK. Target sell price is going to be 240. Right, back at the support. Stop loss is going to be 2.5% of what it is that I'm in. So overall support was at 225. So realistically, I don't want to ride it any or much longer, like, you know, on its way down. It's right around that 225 support, and it broke below. Let's see. All right, well, down should be at 220. It should not go lower than that, based on our previous analysis. All right, realistically, I'm going to put my stop loss at 219. I should have waited a little bit more patiently. I got in too early. I got in too close to the support. It only made sense that based on the old resistance, the support was going to be at 220. That was my mistake. And, you know, my stop loss is going to be at 219. And that was really my fault. It only made sense that I should have. Okay, it's bouncing. And that was really my mistake. I hope this kind of like helped you guys identify this a little bit better. I should have done a better job identifying the proper support, letting it actually bounce rather than just jump into it. I'm going to go back to my 1 minute candlesticks. It's at 224. That was the previous support that it saw, so it's seen a little bit of a resistance at that price point. But I really don't think that, it's still below 30 RSI, so it still identifies it as a good, buy. Come back up, 228. Okay, back at the point. Let's see if we can break resistance at 230. Let's get it. Getting it. Wow, it sounded like a rapper. All right, I'm going to put my limit order. Again, I don't want to get greedy. I know that the resistance is at 240, so I'm going to put my limit order at 2.40, or you can follow with the trailing stop loss, whatever it is that you feel more comfortable with. So I'm up 2.04 based on that shift that it just took. 2.07%, right? So I can put a stop loss at 230 if I really wanted to, just because that would show signs of a downward trend. It's getting a little too close. It's at 230, so I would have stop lossed that already. It's at 228. Didn't do very well. That's the hold to show signs of good upward momentum. 230 back up. All right, 231, 232. DNAR went below. All right, whatever. I'm gonna follow up with the team real quick. and I'm gonna have this alert me if it goes below 237. It's hitting a slight resistance. RSI indicator isn't showing that it's oversold. I don't know why it's struggling again so much. Too many sellers. 230 again. So I'm just gonna put okay. So we really need to break that resistance at 233. Can we break it? If it doesn't break it this third time, I'm just gonna sell. I mean, I'm up, right, by 2.3%, 2.2 to be exact. Oh, we broke it. Let's go. I really don't want to get too greedy. I'm going to put my limit order at 240 again. I'm a little bit more of a conservative trader. Nope, didn't hold very well. So I broke to 234. Showing signs of upward momentum. I really messed up. Again, my huge area of opportunity was I didn't catch it at the actual bounce. I would have been up 13 cents instead of just 5 cents. I did a little pullback. Let's see. 233. Alrighty. I'm gonna see what you guys are saying. And again, in no way do I want you guys to follow what it is exactly that I'm doing. This is just to explain my whole thought process for the different stocks that I'm trading. And you guys really should always be. It always comes down to what it is that you identify potential in and stuff like that. So Neo says I sold out 233. It looks like a lot of you guys actually got in at 220. So you guys did a better job identifying the support than I did. I just jumped on in. My area of opportunity was that I jumped in at 228 because it was showing an upward the pullback, and then it showed a green candlestick. I should have not jumped in right away. I should have taken a step back, literally looked at based on where the previous support was. And where was that? Well, based on the previous resistance, it was 220. So that would only mean that 220 would be the next support. So that was my area of opportunity. I hope that makes sense for you guys. Okay. We're doing a little bit better. Let's see. 234. If it breaks the 235 resistance, yep, there we go, 235. It's not climbing as quick as you would want it to. 235, can we get 236? Now, you can do one of two things now. You can follow with the trailing stop loss. NAK is moving quite quickly. So stop loss might not be ideal unless you give it a good amount of cushion. So it really comes down to how much you want to risk. But it's seen a solid resistance at 235. I haven't seen. Oh, we're about to break it. 236. 235. Once we break 236 based on the little gap that it created, we should be hitting that 240 resistance. And again, it was just identifying the pullback. So NAK is still up 7.81%, but overall on how it actually opened and how it's performing, pre-market hours, not really, right? We're not necessarily up much. Now taking a step back, whoa, that's a really, really big pullback. Does it have a margin of profit to come up all the way back up to 260? Potentially, yeah, it does. Realistically, based on me not trying to be too greedy, I really want to make sure that I lock in my profits again consecutively. I feel are consistently smaller profits in the long run can add up, and that's really what I want you guys to focus on. I know there's going to be a good amount of people that are just going to be saying, well, I'd rather lock in, larger amounts of profit, 100%. If that's what you feel like you want to do. I'm no one to tell you, you shouldn't do what you feel like doing. So go ahead and do what it is that you feel comfortable with. I was just kind of explaining, in the long run, consistently locking in profits. Being higher than 2.33% growth per day just means that you're only exceeding um, this $1,000 challenge and stuff like that. So overall, I just thought that would be a better idea. We're back at 230, guys. I am just second guessing on actually selling at this 235, 236 resistance. Um, I really don't want this to be a green day. I mean a red day, right? So it's bouncing. And what I'll do is I'll leave it up to fate. Once it goes back to the 235, if we can get it at that point, I'm gonna just put a stop loss there. And if it stop losses, then I'll lock in my profits. If it doesn't, then great. I'll follow and continue to follow and try to lock in my profits a little bit higher. But I definitely want to make sure that I lead by example and not get too greedy. If I'm up 2.33%, then I should just lock it in. And I hope that makes sense to you guys. Thumbs up on the video if it does. And let me know if you guys like this type of live stream video. Again, not every morning is going to be extremely active. I feel like we picked a pretty good stock. Let's go ahead and see how Snap is doing real quick. 1825. Well, we just did perfectly. It has a nice little pullback at 1820. Again, previous resistance, new support. Really just makes sense that it bounced there. And then the last one was MTBC. I got an alert that it broke the support. So hit the resistance at 230, is now coming back down, has a nice little support at 210. Will it break below 210? Well, it's really flatlining at 211. And if it sees an upward momentum, then, trade according to what you're seeing. It's just about to break SMA. So this might be a good one to follow up with. But let me go ahead and get back. KNACK broke support at 230, 228, and 29. I'm going to go a little bit further back and see how this played out yesterday. So it's solid support, and up hit a resistance, and then yeah, I mean, if you see how it played out yesterday, it had the support, hit a resistance, had little pullbacks, continued to rise, had pullbacks, and then overall, I mean, each candlestick stands for 1 minute. So it did have nice little pullbacks, hit the resistance again, just a small little downward trend. It comes back up to where it was, and then sees upward momentum. So it's doing something similar to that. And then yesterday, I mean, it did pretty well, right? From this drop, seeing all the way back up to 220. So KNACK went below 227, it hit 226. So that's not a good sign. Hit the resistance. Saw a bounce, saw 16% profit from its lowest point, or 17, because its lowest point was 219 for those that were able to get in. And it's now dropping pretty quickly. Can we get a solid bounce? Looks like it might break 225. Yep, broke below 223. So what could we have done, or what could I have done better, is I could have understood that, or could have identified the resistance here at 235 a little bit more seriously. I did see that it was a previous support, and then as the market opened, it broke below it. So obviously it was most likely going to be a pretty strong resistance. And again, that was my area of opportunity. Looks like we have a nice little bouncer here at 221. If we can start seeing a bounce like we just did right now, um, maybe we can get back. But again, this could have been a second trade rather than my same trade. And I could have sold there and bought again and sold there again for a nicer amount of profit rather than writing it, from here, writing it down, up, down, and then up again. So just my area of opportunity. Um, and again, if you guys want to lock in profits wherever you guys are at, if you guys just bought in at 220 and want to lock in your profits at 228, then do it. Don't feel ashamed to do whatever it is that you feel comfortable with. If you're up, lock in profits. If you feel comfortable with locking in profits and you don't want to risk too much, lock in profits. Can't stress that enough. Do whatever it is that you feel comfortable with. I am going to have to end this live stream within the next 5 minutes, just because I have a couple things that I have scheduled for the next hours. But yeah, I mean, it's been fun. It seemed based on the feedback that I've been getting right now that you guys enjoyed this live stream. So it looks like this guy TCH is saying that I asked for a credit card. I did not, and I will block him. Sorry about that. All right, there's now seen a resistance at that 228 mark. We need to break that. So alrighty, let's go ahead and see. Looks like we're about to break it. Just need to get rid of these sellers right here. But we have some pretty heavy buyers. And that's why the first 30 minutes to 15 minutes are so important. So this was about the first 30 minutes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So within the first 15 minutes, we saw it drop at its lowest point, right, 220, 219, and its peak at its highest point, 236. So, the potential that I had for profit obviously was there. Overall, let's calculate the potential from its lowest to its highest point. Was about 7.26%. And that's definitely more than what you need to be hitting every day for this $1,000 challenge. And we caught it live, right? I could have done a better job, getting in and getting out. But I'm sure based on the current support that it has, again, I have my stop loss set. So overall, I'm managing my risk. And my reward, I feel like, is a lot greater than my risk for where I stand right now. So let me go ahead and go back to my price level. So, and the guy that actually, the member within our group that actually suggested for me to use the drawing instead of, I was using trendline and to use price level because I can adjust it a little bit better. His name was Matthew, if I'm not mistaken. So I had a conversation with him yesterday. Let me go ahead and just double check. Yeah, it was Matthew Daughtry. He's one that I talked to a lot. So again, I have certain relationships with different members within our group. Matthew's definitely one that I communicate with quite often. And it's great, to actually talk to each and every one of you. Patrick is another one. Bradley Smith is another one that I go back and forth with a lot. So I want to make sure that, you guys feel comfortable not just talking to me, but for different members within our group because we have a very supportive community. And I don't think people really understand how important it is or how helpful people can be, besides just me, because I get really busy and I can't always answer your questions right away, and sometimes they can be delayed. So feel free to reach out to different members that you see active within our community, and I'm sure that they can assist you, with the right intentions. So we really need to break the resistance. I'm going to set my alerts because it looks like I'm getting a little bit closer to the time I have to leave, and I do apologize for the little shortcut, but it looks like it built a new support around 223. So I'm going to put when it goes below 224. and it looks like it's almost building a support now at 225. Nope, I think it just broke it. Yeah, there's no point in putting that. Oh, it just hit 223. Well, that's a shame. Funny thing was that the RSI indicator didn't even really show that it was oversold. It was still around 45, which isn't too bad. But that's really just it, guys. I have my alert set. I have my stop loss set. I'll follow up with some messages within the TechBud Solutions group chat, just in case you guys don't know how to join. Once you guys get accepted to the TechBud Solutions, Facebook group, on the top pinned post, so the post that you see here, once you agree to all the terms and conditions, then feel free to join any of the links that we have provided for you right here. And there's a series of chats you can communicate with other members. If you want to search something specifically within our group chat, as in like certain files, then you can click on the keyword or the little search bar that we have right there for you. If you haven't done so already, we'd appreciate the subscription, and I will see you guys in our group chat. If you guys have any questions, you guys know how to reach out to me. I can't thank you guys enough again for everything that you guys do for me. I'll be uploading another video, basically maybe in my analysis video or a helpful video, maybe around 6 o'clock today. But today is Friday. I hope, like always, you guys have a fun and safe weekend. We will see you in our Sunday stock talk. And if there's anything that I can do for you guys know how to reach out to me. So like always, let's make sure that we end the week on a green note. If you guys like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. We'd really appreciate the support. Thank you guys again. Take care.